Would you work for free? A lot of people believe that because us creative entrepreneurs chose passion over practical jobs, that we'll do anything just to get our name out there. And that just isn't the case. Especially not these days. These millennials, they value their time, they know their worth, and they ain't going for that. Okay? So, is there a good time to do free work? When is a good time to do free work? Now, I'm not here to tell you free work is good and free work is bad. I'm just going to tell you about my experiences with doing some free work. So, this may not apply for everybody else, but for me, doing free work landed me one of the biggest gigs of my life, and that was getting a full time job working with Rick Ross.
I formed Maybach Films, man, and just gave, a lot of young directors, opportunity, a shot, an outlet, you know what I'm saying, to work with some incredible artists, and at the same time, we all just get better at what we do. You know what I'm saying? So it's more like a partnership, man, you know what I mean? So, I salute, of course, Shutter Films, Spiff TV Films, Drake Films. Shout out to Lil Andy, man, just my whole squad, John, Jay, everybody who just rep the whole MMG shit, you know what I'm saying?
I had some friends in college that did music, and I believed in their craft. I believed in what they were doing, and I needed to build my portfolio, right? So I linked up with them, and we just started shooting videos. And one thing about me, I don't know anything about sports. I know the major players, but I'm not one of those guys that can have a conversation with another guy like, yeah, so and so got injured and they were the first draft player. And I don't know anything about that, okay? So it just so happened that one of my friends, his brother was the famous football player Ocho Cinco, right? So Ocho Cinco had a relationship with Rick Ross. And one day, my friend went over to Rick Ross's house and was showing Ross, the music that him and his friends did. And Rick Ross asked about the visuals. He said, "Hey, who did this video?" And my friend said it was me. And the next thing you know, I was at Rick Ross's house. Just shooting some videos for my friends, not thinking anything of it, led me to one of the biggest gigs of my life. And I was able to quit my job at the time and work with Ross full time. If I wasn't doing those videos for free, that connection would have never been made. That really changed my life. That really changed my life. Just working on some music videos with some friends from school, not thinking where it was going to take me. So, yeah. I also went behind the scenes of DJ Infamous's Double Cup music video featuring Juicy J, Jeezy, Ludacris, and Hitmaker, and I did all of that work for free. Somebody brought me the opportunity and said, "Hey, we got a music video set. They need behind the scenes, but there's no budget." So right then and there, I had to make a decision. Do I stay at home and do nothing, or do I go shoot so I can get some of these artists in my portfolio? So you better believe it, that's what I did. We went out there, and it was a great time. I got to film all of these artists, and I got to get some hands on experience of what it was like to be on a big music video set with all of these artists. So doing that behind the scenes video for DJ Infamous was the start of our relationship, and it led me to direct his next music video, which was Something Right featuring Big Crit and Yo Gotti.
Now, let's check out some Southern beats. I'm talking about my boy DJ Infamous featuring Big Crit and Yo Gotti. Something Right. 106.
These are the types of benefits that you want to see when doing free work, right? Me as a music video director, going behind the scenes of a music video and filming that was nothing for me, and it was something that aligned with what I essentially wanted to do. So That's why I chose to do it. I needed a piece of content for my portfolio that showed clients, hey, I know how to use this camera and I can edit and produce a high quality visual. Last but not least, a more recent example of how doing free work led me to a bigger gig was just last year. I reached out to celebrity Georgia Rain, and I just randomly DM'd her like, hey, I would love to shoot a music video. I commented. I saw that she was doing music and I commented on a post. I said, I would love to shoot a music video for you one day. And, a few months later, she hit me back like, yo, send me some of your work. So I sent her some of my work, and within the next week, we linked up and we shot a trailer for one of her singles, right? So I shot this trailer for her single. It came out great. And after shooting the trailer, she showed her manager, and the manager liked it so much. He said, well, let's just hire him to shoot the full official video, right? So that was a cold call, a cold comment. I just randomly commented on somebody's post, and, after putting the work in, it led me to directing the full music video, which premiered on BET Jams. And that also led me to working with another artist, Raheem Devon, which, led to other big things. So we're going to go into some pros and cons of doing free work. So the first one is you get to build your portfolio. In order to get that next big gig, you have to have some type of portfolio. You have to have something that you can show the client. Clients want to know, if they pay you, will you be able to get the job done? And what will it look like, right? So you want to have some type of work to show the clients that you can get the job done. If you don't have any work, if you don't have a portfolio, if you don't have anything to show the client, they most likely won't hire you, right? They're going to go with somebody that can show them results. They can show proof that they can get the job done. Doing free work allows you to build up your portfolio, whatever field you may be in. In my field, we're speaking about filmmaking. So, doing free videos for clients allowed me to build my portfolio up to the point where I had enough quality projects to where I was able to take it and get bigger gigs. So another benefit of doing free work is you get to build your experience up, right? An analogy I like to use is, if someone gave you $1 million and you were able to buy all this equipment, right? Red camera, Arri camera, all of that, all the lights. If you had everything at your disposal, what would you do with it? You still wouldn't know how to use it. You got to practice, right? And going on set using equipment for the first time is not the way to go. That's a recipe for disaster. So you have to practice. You have to practice with your gear. You have to get used to your gear. You have to master your gear. You have to learn how to use your gear. You have to learn how to use your equipment. You have to learn what works for you, and you have to be able to troubleshoot, right? You got to know what goes wrong. If something goes wrong with this piece of equipment, what can you do to fix it? So you got to know all of these things beforehand, before you take on this big gig. So doing free work allows you to practice and build your experience up and get your skills up, so that when you do get that paid gig, you know exactly what you're doing. And if you run into any other problems, you know how to solve it. Along with building your portfolio and gaining experience, another benefit of doing free work is networking, right? So when you have that final product, you don't know who's going to see it. You don't know who the client is going to show it to. And a lot of the times, the client can show it to somebody who will essentially hire you in the future. And then that's when you can charge them your normal rate. So there's a lot of benefits of doing free work, right? But let's talk about some of the bad stuff, right? Let's talk about some of the cons of doing free work, right? So the first one is time and energy, right? Now, doing free work can take up a lot of time and your energy, right? And nobody likes to be working on a project for nothing, right? Nobody wants to use their time and energy for something that they're not interested in, right? Now, you may feel like your time and energy is wasted if you're not being compensated for your work, right? Because not all the times does doing free work lead to bigger gigs, right? I just gave you three examples of how doing free work helped me, but this may not be the same for everybody. It may not work the same for everybody, right? Sometimes when you're doing free work, you may feel like you're wasting your time and your energy, and nobody wants to feel like that, right? Another thing is you can get burnt out by doing free work. If you're juggling free gigs and paid gigs, what do you put time into more, right? Do you put more time into the paid gig because they paid you, or do you put more time into the free work because that client is still expecting it? That client is still expecting a project, and you still want to, show the client that you can get them the project in a timely manner. You still want to show the client that you can get the project done, right? But you have these paid gigs, and that kind of pressure is different, right? When a client has paid their money and they're waiting for the project. So juggling paid gigs and free gigs can be difficult. Now, there is, there is something in Atlanta called the finesse or the name dropping, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure every city goes through it. I'm sure every creative has experienced the fast talker, the people that just come and name drop. Hey, we got this, and this person on set, and, we need you to do this, and it's going to be a great opportunity, a great chance for you to get your name out there. And then when you ask what's the budget, they say zero, nothing. We don't have it, but it'll be a great form of exposure for you, right? We've all heard something along the lines of this, right? So ultimately, it's up to you to set clear boundaries, and you determine who you want to work for free, right? You determine what projects you want to do. Someone may come to you with a project and it may not align with your interests. Don't do it. Somebody else may come to you with a project and it fits exactly right into what you're trying to go and where you're trying to go. Go for it. Take the leap of faith. Do it.